What's going on, guys? Radio Graffiti here, and today I want to talk to you guys about X-Men 97, the new animated show that premieres on Disney Plus. Now, when I first heard about this show, I couldn't have cared less about it. I didn't grow up on X-Men, the animated series. I was more of a Spider-Man, Batman, the animated series kind of guy, mostly Batman and Justice League. So I was prepared to just skip out on this and not think a thing about it. I was like, good for those people who grew up on the animated series of X-Men back in the 90s. But then people just kept talking every week about it, saying, oh, this show's great, it's fantastic. I'm like, yeah, okay, sure it is, I'm sure it is. And then the next week, I'm like, okay, let me look at this for myself. I watch it and I'm like, wow, this is some of the best X-Men content I've seen in years. Hell, it's some of the only X-Men content we've had in years, but still, it's great. Like, this is probably the best X-Men content we've ever gotten as far as a part of X-Men media that gives every member of the X-Men a chance to shine. You know, because usually in the movies, it's usually Wolverine and then Magneto or Charles, and then maybe a Mystique kind of get the spotlight. But in here, it's like Scott Summers, he really feels like the leader here. Jean Grey has a lot to her character as well. Beast, Gambit, Rogue. Like, so many characters in this show are just way more fleshed out than they ever were in the films. I feel like there's sort of a secret hate/jealousy for Wolverine from the hardcore X-Men fans, because Wolverine has been still in the spotlight for 2 decades now in the movies. They've all been about Wolverine for the most part. So in X-Men 97, they're all like, oh, fuck Wolverine, who cares if he gets any spotlight or not. Which he does get some cool moments in the show. Everyone gets their own little moment in the show. For example, Nightcrawler and Wolverine have their fight against the zombie robots. Rogue beats the shit out of Bastion. And then after episode 5, she kind of goes ape shit, trying to find Trask. That was probably my favorite episode. Episode 5. That was the only episode where I was left kind of a little teary-eyed. It was so emotional. And it seems like Gambit actually did die in that episode, which is really crazy, because he hasn't been back since. I was hoping to see quite a bit of Gambit in the show, but then he dies in episode 5, and I was like, oh, okay, that's a little unfortunate. But I think this show does a great job at introducing new characters in the show, like Cable and Captain America. There's also tons of neat cameos, like Iron Man, Hulk, Spider-Man, Black Panther, Daredevil. The animation is fantastic, and my favorite line in the entire show is,
the professor loved to say, trust happens when actions meet words. Cyclops out.
I don't know why that line just always stuck with me after I watched that episode. That was just such a fantastic line from Scott. He really does feel like the leader in here, whereas in the movies, he was just kind of a huge pussy who got cucked by Wolverine. My only negatives for the show is I wish that Wolverine, Morph, Gambit, and Storm all got more to do in the show. Like, Storm gets her Man of Steel moment where she gets rid of that weird, evil little demon bird, and then she gets her powers back. But looking at the entire season, she really didn't do much. And Morph, he just kind of transforms into the cameo of the week for Twitter to talk about. And like I said, Gambit dies episode 5. And Wolverine only has like 3 moments in the entire show where he really does anything significant. One is when he drives the fake Jean Grey to the hospital. The second is when he stabs Magneto. And then the third is his fight with the zombie mutants, and he's going ape shit. You know, he's like falling from the sky, slashing robot zombies with Nightcrawler. Man, that shit was so fucking cool. I loved that. That was probably my favorite scene of the entire season, is just seeing Nightcrawler and Wolverine fighting those zombies sentinels. So fucking cool. And also, the villain seems a little generic. Mostly Mr. Sinister seems just kind of, oh, I'm evil. Like, there wasn't much to his character. At least with Bastion, you kind of got the sense of, okay, he felt like he was kind of done dirty a little bit. But Mr. Sinister, he's just like, oh, I'm just evil. And the episode where it's just about Jubilee and that other guy, and they're like stuck in a video game or whatever, I kind of just skipped that episode. I really didn't care. It was very boring. Overall, it's got peak animation, and I can't wait for season 2. This show is fantastic. Magneto is a boss in the show. He is so cool. Charles doesn't get much to do. He's kind of missing for half the show. Then when he does arrive, he's just kind of a little whiny bitch. Like him and Magneto have a good relationship when he does come back. Like, that's all very interesting as usual. But yeah, those are my thoughts on X-Men 97. I definitely would recommend you check it out if you have not seen it. I too was very hesitant to watch the show. I was like, yeah, y'all call everything good. Who's watching that shit? And then I actually watched it and I was like, huh, I was wrong. This is actually pretty good. So check it out and let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. Or have you already been watching it? What did you guys think about the finale? In my opinion, episode 5 is the best episode, but I also think the finale is pretty cool as well. Really, the whole last 3 episodes have been great. Have little to no complaints about them. So yeah, that's all for today, and I'll see you guys next time.